Let's look at another example of adding fractions. Again, the first thing we want to do if we're going to try and add fractions is make a common denominator. To make a common denominator, we need to factor the denominator that's there. 9 is 3 times 3. 15 is 3 times 5. And 10 is 2 times 5. So when you're trying to get a common denominator, you look at all the denominators separately to see if there's something common between the denominators, not within. So even though this has 2 3's, that's not what I'm talking about for common. I'm talking, does each denominator contain a 3? It does not. Once you've looked for the common to each denominator, then you can look to the common for some of the denominators. So 2 of these denominators have a 3. I write down 3 just once. And 2 of these denominators have a 5. So I write down the 5 just once. Since there's nothing else common to all the denominators, or even some of the denominators, I write down everything that's left. So I write down the 3 and the 2. So this new common denominator has 4 factors. The original denominator only has 2 factors, so it must be missing some of these. It has both 3's, so it's missing the 5 and the 2. So I put the 5 and the 2 down in this denominator, as well as in the numerator. That's what I mean by fix the numerator. We want the bottoms to be the same, the denominators, but then if we change a denominator, we must also change its numerator. This denominator has a 3 and a 5. It's missing the 3 and the 2. So I put the factors 3 and 2 in the denominator, as well as in the numerator. 10 had 2 factors, 2 and 5, the 2 and the 5. It's missing both of the 3's. So I put both 3's in the denominator, as well as in the numerator. So 2 times 5 is 10 times 2 is 20. And then it says to subtract. 8 times 3 is 24. 24 times 2 is 48. And then it says to add. 3 times 3 is 9, times 3 is 27. So let's see what we get for an answer. Our denominator, 3 times, well, let's try and use the commutative property. Let's move the 5 next to the 2 and multiply those first. 2 times 5 is 10. 10 times 3 is 30, times 3 is 90. So that's what's nice about the properties we have. They can allow us to do the math a little easier. And then we have 20. Take away 48 and add 27. Well, if you notice the positive numbers 20 and 27, if I add those together I get 47. But I'm supposed to take away 48, and 48 is bigger than 47. So I actually am going to owe $1. Since 1 doesn't reduce, this fraction doesn't reduce, and we're done.